this is the first stream I have done in a while. So yeah, hopefully I'm streaming right now. I can see on YouTube that apparently I am streaming, so I'm just going to crack on with the drawing. So yeah, I'll type something in the comments. Don't know if anyone is there or anyone is watching. I haven't promoted this at all anywhere. So this is the first stream I've actually done in quite some time. What I'd like to do is, if anyone is watching, please pop something in the comments and let me know how this is working. The last stream I did actually went horrendously wrong because what happened was my bandwidth was really bad. The company I use for my bandwidth is rather naff. I use Sky, who are a television supplier as well. Yeah, and they're kind of useless. I've now upgraded my internet and I should have really good bandwidth. So this should be coming through a lot better. So please let me know in the comments if my bandwidth is okay, if you can hear me, if you can see me. So what I'll do is I'll just crack on drawing and hopefully let me know if the sound's coming through, if the video's coming through, and if the stream's okay. Brilliant. I'll just carry on as per normal, and yeah, let me know if everything's coming through. I'll just make sure my comments are there and if you can see me. So yeah, bit worried as yet because I can't see any comments, but yeah, I'll just crack on, and yeah, you guys let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. If there's any lag, I have no idea what to do. But please, just let me know if you can hear and see me okay. I did actually want to play some music, but I decided I didn't want to get pulled on this. So I've decided to go ahead and draw an astronaut because while I was image researching for a commissioned piece that I was talking to a client about, I just kept coming up with these great pictures of a spacesuit that was skin tight that NASA was saying was going to be the future of spacesuit design, and it looked absolutely great, this kind of skin tight spacesuit. And I thought this was a brand new thing, but then when I looked into it more, it was on a TED talk, but when I looked into it more, the story was actually from 2014 and was actually it was an influence for the film The Martian. Well, for the spacesuit from The Martian, and I thought it was really cool. And do a whole face in grey there. So I'm just black and white in this whole thing. Can't see a single comment yet. Hopefully I am actually streaming though. If anyone is watching, please let me know. Apparently one person's watching. So yeah, whoever is watching, please just type something in the comments so I know if you can see me. I do love doing Hangouts. I do them with Aaron Rutten all the time. And he always hosts them, funnily enough. And it's really nice and easy because he hosts them and he does live streams of his own all the time. But for me, I don't know, it means I'm kind of lazy, and yeah, it just means I don't have to do anything. He just clicks go. I don't really have to do anything with the settings or anything like that. But I want to do more of my own, so not so much so I'm in control, but just because then I can, you know, I can start hosting them on my channel as well. So I can get the viewers and I can get more people interested in my channel, and I can build up my subscriber base a bit. And I can take some of the burden off Aaron as well, which would be great for him in future. Because I know that it's a lot to put on him. And I know that in the future he'd like to maybe take a step back from having to do that. Because for me, when we do it through Google Hangouts as well as through YouTube. We have to use both. So in the future, if I'm hosting them, he can just ring me up on Google Hangouts and I'll set it up. But it requires me doing this part of it. But once you've got it set up and you've got it working, you know, it's all there kind of thing. I never like to come into a live stream with a blank canvas. You can do it, and it's quite easy, and I've done it a few times before, but I always prefer just to come in with a sketch, because I know myself as a viewer, it's not that fun to see somebody, you know, start with a blank canvas. Please, if there are people watching, just chime in on the comments, because I'm a bit surprised there hasn't been one comment yet. Just let me know. If you can hear and see me alright. If you have any questions about Photoshop or digital painting, quite happy to answer anything. I use Wacom's, and I use Corel Paint a lot. Tend to use Photoshop on my live streams, just because I think that more people request to see that on the live streams. It's not necessarily because I draw in it more often. I tend to flick back and forth in my paintings. I tend not to favour one over the other. I tend to use both simultaneously in my paintings. I might start in Painter and then use Photoshop to finish off painting, or I might start in Photoshop and then go over to Painter to work on the painting. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But I do tend to work like this a lot, where I'll create an image in black and white, this is pretty fun. It's nice to get your colour values set up as best you can. Work this all out before you go too far into an image. Actually jump over here. Use more of a truer white on top. There we go. Just do the shinier surfaces. Supposed to be a metal bar down the side here. It's actually on top of the line drawing. Move to a smaller brush. Where I've got like a line art thing going on. Not too worried about that yet. And I've got some lamps in there, so I'll just paint them round. See this as being kind of a mono colour painting anyway. Hi hunting dog. Thanks for putting in a comment there. I was starting to think that I was going mad. Can you hear me and see me okay? I'm glad you like the picture. Let me know if you want to know anything specific about what I'm painting, or indeed why I'm painting it. Like I said, this is actually based a little bit on the images of the NASA astronaut suit that I saw. I've just kind of added bits onto it in an attempt to kind of make it a bit cooler. Cool. It's glad to know you can hear me okay. Cheers for letting me know. I mean, obviously I'll be able to hear it back on YouTube, but if I'm going for quite some time, it'd be weird to only hear myself back later on. Find out then, you know. For me, it's pretty late at night here, and I thought I'd kind of do it late at night to give myself that test, since I knew there wouldn't be a load of people listening. So if I fudged it up, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But then I know for like some people it's not late at night, so I don't want to mess it up either way. One thing I liked about the original spacesuit that I saw was that the visor was actually green. I keep forgetting that the camera's on me, because normally when I do hangouts with Aaron Rutten, I turn my camera off. Just because all you're seeing is me looking at the Wacom. It's kind of weird. I don't mind that at all. But, you know, when you're drawing, you don't typically talk to the camera. And I can turn that off and I can save bandwidth, and I thought if my bandwidth was sluggish I could do that, but because I do tutorial videos anyway, so I'm used to continuously talking and that not being a problem, because I know some people tend not to talk while they're drawing, and people do want the talking, but it's kind of like to look at the camera and talk is, I think, a scientific impossibility. I can't think of a single person who could actually do that. You know, you can look up now and again, but you couldn't. There's no way you could actually concentrate full time. Me and Aaron actually get by now and again by looking up, but that's because there's two of us on the mics. $9.55 for you. Wow. What, morning or night? And are you a painter, or do you just watch people paint? I am. Where are you? Painterish. Painterish, I like that term. NC. What's NC? I kind of know NC, but I'm just trying. It won't register in my brain. Like, my brain first of all said New York, and it's like, that's not NC. I'm just too tired to recollect NC for some odd reason. Sorry. Yeah. No, yeah. Sorry. Oh, there's 3 people watching now. Hi, guys. Or gals. So obviously I'm not gonna get to finish this to my normal lovely standard tonight. For me it is, oh, it's just turned 3 o'clock, but that's totally cool. I'm probably gonna paint for, I'm gonna paint for quite a bit longer. I'm not saying I'm going off now or anything. I'm just saying. For me, one of my normal paintings, if you've seen my website, I don't know, but for me, one of my normal paintings can take me between 1 and 2 weeks. One of my client paintings. I normally paint book covers or concept art. And yeah, I mean, my concept art can do like a day for a piece. But my book covers can take a couple of weeks. And yeah, I love doing book covers because I love to spend quite a lot of time on stuff. And that's really cool. I love just, yeah, sitting down and just working on a piece. And for some days it's like, right, today I'm gonna do the sky, and that's crazy. And people just look at me weird when I tell them that that's what I did today. But it's like, actually what I did this morning on a piece was I painted 2 dead bodies in a beach. And yeah, I know I get looked at weird for doing things like that, but I had mega fun. I found reference images and I painted 2 dead bodies lying in a beach. On the other hand, that really upset me because I went looking for reference images and I really shouldn't have gone looking for reference images. Some of the things I typed into Google like really upset me. And I saw reference images I couldn't take back, you know. It's kind of like, wow, I didn't want to see what the kind of things I saw. But sometimes the things I end up finding, my reference image searches, are really cool. Like the other day I was searching for space helmets, and that's what led me to paint this tonight, because I just kept finding this astronaut suit, you know, of this kind of skin tight astronaut suit with all these lines on, and NASA was saying this is going to be the next big thing, and I love this, so that's what led me to paint this. Do I start in Photoshop or Corel Painter? It really depends just on the mood I feel. Sometimes I start in Photoshop and sometimes I start in Painter. It's just literally different days I start in different things. It just, you know, I wake up and, you know, I might have been working in Photoshop one day and the next day I'll just wake up and I'll open that same painting in a different app. That's the good thing, because I save as PSDs. I'll open that same painting in a completely different program just because I feel like it, you know. Or sometimes it's because I need to achieve a different thing, so I'll open the program in something different. It's like some days if I'm painting a face and I'm painting it front on like this, when I start I'll paint it in Corel Painter because it has a great split down the middle mode, so I can paint it. I only have to paint half of the face, you know. Photoshop's Painter has a more natural kind of natural brush mode, I find that, you know, Photoshop's brushes are more blocky. So if I want to paint natural faces, more natural things, then I find Painter's better. If I want to paint more mechanical things, I find Painter's better. Photoshop's better for more mechanical things. You know. So if I'm painting cars or robots or things, I tend to stick with Photoshop. If I'm painting, you know, animals or something, I'll go into Painter. But then really there's just that thing of how I'm feeling on the day. You know, I was painting in Photoshop for such a long time. But I think as well, Photoshop has a look and feel to it that you can't get away from. Like, I can look at somebody's artwork and say, oh yeah, that's a Photoshop artist. And the same with Painter to a degree. I think I can look at someone's artwork and say, oh, that person uses Painter. No worries. If you have to go, you have to go. It's been nice chatting with you. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. I'm going to make sure that, you know, I carry this on another live stream soon anyway, so there'll be more since this live stream's going well. I'm going to make sure that I do more live streams in the future. You know, as long as this live stream works out well, then I'm always going to be back. If anybody else has any more questions, then please let me know. I'm just gonna, oops, that's my website right there if you were just interested in my, whoops, give me a split second here. I'm just going to pop online and tweet about this event. Let's see if we can get some more people on here. Shall we? Oops. There we go. Hey. Just thought I'd quickly do that. Isn't that weird that I can just stop midstream and just tweet? Right, hopefully I didn't lose anyone there. Wouldn't that be weird if I just lost people because I was busy tweeting to get more? Like I said, if anyone has any questions, then let me know. I've noticed lately that my brush gets stuck on the colour picker in Photoshop. I don't know if that's my Wacom doing that or if that's a Photoshop thing. It could most likely be a Mac thing, because I've noticed that the keyboard always gets the little on-screen keyboard always had a problem, and that's a Mac thing, because when I use the on-screen keyboard on the PC, that never had a problem. So I think it's actually a Mac thing. If anyone else has ever had a problem with the on-screen keyboard or the problem in Photoshop with the color picker in Photoshop, let me know. Love to know if anyone else is also having that issue, or whether that's just me being a crackpot. And I think late at night, crackpot issues are a certain thing to debate. Well, I say late at night. I know hunting dog. For hunting dog, it's 9:30 in the morning. So realistically, time is relevant. Oops, I'll switch to a pure white there. They say some people say never to use pure white in Photoshop. I discussed this in one of my YouTube videos, and yep, maybe you shouldn't. There's a debate there. Certainly is a debate, but on the other hand, I think it's all down to personal style. And you can push it as far as you think you can get away with it. See, I'm working on the face here, but ultimately, when you consider that the picture as a whole is that. Wow, her face looks really messed up now. And that's often what happens. You go in too far, and that happens. So what I need to do now is just come back out, and just really shade. See, those whites that I've added to her eyes just look crazy now. And those natural lines are just too harsh as well. So I'm just gonna really block in her face. I'm gonna really edit out some of the highlights. Need a softer brush than that. There we go. And just pop in a few more like that. Should have done this on a separate layer really, but because then I could have lightened the layer off slightly, which would have helped me. But that doesn't matter. The key is to make some lights quite harsh and some shadows quite harsh. Not just have everything fuzzy and everything harsh. I also find if you're not sure where to put a line, just don't have it. Like this line under the chin, because I'm not sure about it, I'm just going to merge it completely there under the lip. Still going to have the lip, but I'm not going to have any shadow under it. So I've still got a shadow there. I want to eradicate that. Oops, colour picker sticking again. There we go. Maybe just a touch. There we go. See, her face looks a million miles better now. She's not the prettiest woman in the world, but there we go. You know, less is certainly more in this case. I can come back and fix this, and I will do, but once I've got it kind of in colour. I think that's the place to do that. Sometimes it's best not to get everything done in black and white, you know. Oh, hunting dog's still here. Oh, you are leaving. No worries. Well, I hope your wife gets better soon. And subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next live stream, which will be very soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in the next day or so. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to let me know. Happy to answer. I'm just using the standard Photoshop brush here. I did use a specialised one on the pipes. I've got a few more that I could use on the rest of the suit, but more or less on my illustrations I tend to use the pretty standard ones. Now I'm drawing on the Wacom 27QHD, which is a lovely piece of kit. As you can see, I've got loads of room around my illustration here, and the illustration is absolutely massive, especially when you compare it to the rest of the palettes around here. You know, that makes it absolutely brilliant to work on, especially when I do use Corel Painter, which has a lot more palettes for me to open than Photoshop. You know, it's a lot more palette intensive. But for right now, you know, I'm just just quite happy working on a massively nice big screen. And I think as a professional artist and illustrator, you need this kind of screen size. There's no way around that. You know, before I was working on a 21-inch UX, and that was lovely and big. But, you know, after a while you get used to the size, and then you need to go up again. And you will always just need to keep continuously upgrading and upgrading. And these things just keep getting better and better in quality as well. And they do as well. The Wacoms do get better. It's not just, you know, little bits here and there. I've got my Wacom remote, which is brilliant. Let's get some of these lines kind of penned in. I'm not going to do all of these obviously, because there's loads of them on the suit. But this is just to highlight some of them. Kind of like the ones in the main areas. By main areas, I mean like the darker areas where they're more likely to stand out. I'm liking how this is going. It's one of those illustrations that could do with a lot more time spent on it. But it is, I think it's looking really nice. Good thing is, because some of them have now been in shadow, I'm getting to kind of repair the lines that I didn't think were perfect before. I'm actually drawing on a lot more of these than I thought I was going to do as well. Pretty much done them all now. Yeah, it's pretty much all of them. Did really enjoy doing this piece though. There we go. Add in a couple of, try and shape that nose a bit. There we go. like I said, if anyone's got any comments, let me know and I will answer them. Right, time to slap some colour on this. Because I'm really wanting to see that visor in green, which is what the kind of the spacesuit that I saw had, and I really liked that. So it was like that, and I really loved that, because before they've all been kind of this goldy colour, and everyone's used to seeing that, and I like that, but I thought the green was just really nice. And the space suit itself was white. Obviously I'd play white as a kind of a cream maybe, even though it was maybe a tad more of a clean white. Oops, that's a tad too green. Yeah, I could just do it pretty much as a grey. But it had hints of red on it. So I could just do it as red with white bits on it, which make it really interesting. Kind of go for the more cosmonaut feel. That feels like way too. Yeah, I'd have to do it on a separate layer. Maybe go for red with a multiply layer. There's another way to do this where it drags in the blacks without being blacks, which is by adding a linear dodge like that. And then I put in a multiply layer as well, and that will look better. So I have that, and then I add that. Whoops, maybe not multiply. There is a way around this. Reds are notoriously difficult. More like that. Yeah. Anyway, there's a way around it, and it works really well. But I'd have to play with it for a bit to get it there. It's worth doing, just to make the spacesuit not look so harsh. Because this grey is looking very kind of dark grey. That's the trouble when you use reds, when you're painting from black and white. It's okay when you know in the very beginning, you know, if you've planned out your sketch. Say if you're painting a well-known character like Iron Man, so you know exactly the colours you're painting and you know where you're painting them, then you know straight away. You're saying to yourself, well, it's okay because this area is going to be red, so you kind of know the hues and the values straight away. But when you are creating a character and you don't necessarily know which areas are going to be what colours, then you have to start being creative with the way that you lay down your colours. You know, you have to start experimenting with layer effects to bring in the colours. and I often end up spending ages playing with layer combinations to get that kind of the colour that I want, and that's fine. It often takes a while, but I end up getting something right, and quite often as well I end up coming up with combinations that I wasn't expecting, combinations that work really well, you know. And I end up saying to myself, well, I won't go for a specific colour because I know I may not get there, so you know, I don't set out with a specific colour in mind. I just say, well, a red might be nice, but you know, nice orange. I prefer the orange, so that's what I'll do. You'll notice that she's not too neat around the edges. I'm not bothered about that right now. You know, it's easier to not be too neat and then go in and just neaten it up like this with the eraser. If you work on a few different layers, like I've put my red down on a different layer, so I'm just going with the eraser and just get rid of all the unwanted red. Whenever you're not sure whether you're going to be neat enough, just use another layer. You know, 10 times easier. There we are. Normally, I rotate my Wacom quite a lot. I use an Ergotron stand, but whenever I do live streams, I tend to keep it, my Wacom really straight, because if I rotate my Wacom right now, I'd be rotating my camera as well. So you guys would be spinning all over the place, and that'd just get crazy. You wouldn't want that, and I wouldn't want to do that to you. So I'm leaving my Wacom perfectly in position. If I need to rotate, I'll just use the rotate tool, like that. Oops. Just double tap that and reset it. There you go. Start erasing more stuff up here. So I know watching me erase stuff isn't the coolest thing ever, so I'll stop that now. Right, now I can grab that layer and just go to screen, just double check anything I missed. Using another layer effect just to kind of double check that. That's fine. Oops, over a bit. Now delete the other one, change that to multiply and copy it again. Right. Then just go through the layer effects just to kind of try and find that layer effect. Where it brings out the blacks as the colour. Feel free to let me know where you're from. Make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this. one other thing you can do is just change the color hue of the layer and try again. Sometimes that will get you an interesting effect. There we go. There we go, that's really interesting. Pink is maybe not right there. That's more what I was wanting. I'm going to drop that opacity again. There. So you see the difference there immediately. I've gotten something a little more along the lines of what I was looking for. And that's great. Then go back in and I can start and pick that colour and then make that even lighter. Maybe add a touch of yellow in there to go back in and start adding some highlights. And not just over the top of what was there before, but can add highlights in different places. Maybe my brush is a little too hard for this. There we go. And of course just change the layer style of that. And I actually will just add some more blacks into that, but only in certain places. And that's just as shadows where actual things are hanging over. But the good thing is, because of the layer style that I've used, it's not interfering with the white lines that I put on that previous layer. I'm going to put it there where that leg's falling back. Just noticed that I covered up the kneecap on that from those red layers. So I'm going to have to go in and get rid of that kneecap. There we go. Oops. Kneecap. There we go. I do want to colour this there. But I'm going to give it a nice dull colour. There we go. and almost gold. Hello to anyone who's watching. Feel free to chime in, say hello. This hopefully will be more like the actual NASA colour. So I pop it in. There we go. Or what I could have done is just bang. Did that work? What did I do that with? I did that with colour. Yeah, there you go, that works. The only difference there is that yeah. Yeah, that does work. Yeah, there you go. Lazy man's way. Right, okay. Did I just bung? Yep, I bunged a new layer on there. So I'm just going to add in some really quick effects to make this look cool. Because you get to a point where you're like, I have to start making this look cool. Otherwise I'm going to, start going nuts if it doesn't start to kind of look like it's improving somewhat. And just something as simple as that, kind of helps. And I've just noticed that one's kind of really out of alignment, so I'm just going to budge that over. There we go. Oops. Brilliant. Yeah. Quick, give us some lighting on her face. lighting on a face just looks really bad, so I'm going to get rid of that. Boom. Shouldn't need that. Lighting on the helmet, that does. That'll do it. There. Yep. That's nice for a quick detail. About that. Fact, I will add a colour to this. See what that does. There we go. Just add a background colour, because then I can go into my hue, just ramp that up. I like the purple, and I'm just going to add in a background, find a brush. I've got a few kind of starry brushes, something like that. Grab a white, there we go. That totally sucks. There we go, that's better. It's fine for now. Trust me, that's fine for now. I've done enough starry backgrounds to know how to shoot one. Just put a blast of colour behind her. Change that to overlay. Wow. Okay, and just flatten all of that. Actually, I won't flatten all of that just yet. Where's those stars? There. Dupe those stars, but turn off the layer. Flatten all of that. Plus that. Then copy it. Then I'm going to radial blur that. Move my radial blur up a bit. Zoom it, best quality. Move that to down a bit to like 5. 4's fine. And okay that. That'll take a minute. The reason I'm moving it down to 4 is this thing is super powerful. And you think, yeah, 10. 10's not much. Oh god. You put it on 50 and you won't have an image left. 20, you won't have an image left. 10, 10's actually really powerful. If you only want a slight blur, 4, 5 is plenty. Trust me on this one. Spoke my nerds. Really good. Especially if you need to keep talking for a live stream. Coffee and nerds. Really. Sugar and caffeine. And this is the first I've had since I started this live stream. There you go. Hit Command and 0. So you got it full stream. That's 4%. Look at the difference. Off, on. Now, Command and U, and play with hue and saturation. See, I'm tempted to take the purple out, go for more of an ocean blue, then go Command and L to take it to my levels, make it darker, retain a lot of that white, like that, keeping that blue. But then once I've done this, I go back into hue and saturation, knock down that saturation so the blue was more like it was a second ago. There we go. That looks good. If I go into my undo states, my history, you look at that when it was purple. That looks pretty hideous now. There we go. That's exactly the same. Oops. But it's darker. Because if you just do it in the levels, you end up with a lot more saturation. So you need to kind of go back and forth a bit. I wish they'd merge the hue, saturation and the levels so you could actually get a true play around. There is a way of doing it with a different setting, which is if I go into adjustments and then I do curves, I can kind of do it there, which is different, but that's more for photographers. It allows you a different level of control, which is absolutely great. But for illustrators, doing it hue and saturation and then levels is actually, I find it's better and truer. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is actually grab a white brush. Obviously I want it small on that. And ooh, that's a bit too soft, a bit too big. Because I've blurred the background, this works really well when you're doing concept art because it allows you to cheat quite a bit. You notice the edge of my illustration is really rough. I turn notifications off, but they've come back on because of the time of day. There we go. Yeah, because the illustration is a bit rough around the edges. Because I've blurred my background, I can get away with putting this blurry line around the edge now. It kind of covers up a lot of my rough edges. It looks good, it looks like it's supposed to be there. Adds that nice feeling of motion. I'm using it to actually add more detail. You know, I can actually go into these lines on the suit with it as well. Like that. There we go. And to me, that's looking kind of cool. Let me know what you think, guys. Yeah, those lines look pretty cool now. I'm just going to put that star layer there. Filter. I can do the same radial blur. There we go. It's taken a while now. Do 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 do. Boo. Never mind, it is getting there. Yeah, you see how those extra stars really make it pop, stand out. In fact, do you know what? I'm just gonna I'm just going to go into my radial blur and I'm going to set that to 10 and actually get that to go out a lot more, just because I think that, you know, that might really set it. Okay, so this one might take a few seconds longer, but yeah, I think this will really set it off. I think I also want to add some different colours into the overall picture. Obviously the face mask will need some different colours, the bodysuit as well. You know, it's just this one flat red. I think obviously space as well needs some different colours, but you know, it's nowhere near there yet. I've just noticed, you know, the flag as well, but this for a first stage little sketch, you know, it's looking okay. I spent an hour on it, so I'm kind of happy with it. Okay, this is almost done. Another sip of coffee while I wait. Yeah, my electric cigarette. That is a lot better. Yeah. Okay, so new layer. I'm going to set this one to colour. Just going to take my hardness down, grab that green, put a bit of orange in there. I'm going to put the same orange in the suit actually. Just a couple of places. A bit more. Green. Some browns. Maybe some really pick up some reds. To go in the Union Jacks, and some blues as well. There we go, and we can neaten that up next time. Yeah, neaten that all up next time. The spacesuit that I was kind of basing this on actually had stripes of colour throughout, so maybe I'll just dab some of these in throughout like that. There we go, like that. That was kind of cool. I like that. And just lower the opacity of that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I think for now I'm going to call that a day on my live stream, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it went fine, and I hope that you could hear me okay and the quality of the live stream was good. This is my first live stream for a fair while, so yeah, I hope it all went okay, and thanks for tuning in. Please remember to click subscribe and check out the videos on my channel. You can also see more of my artwork on my website, which is LAWRENCEman.co.uk. A lot of the illustration work there is, hopefully, you'll think a lot better quality than this. This is obviously just a rough sketch. My artwork, this is only an hour and a bit, but a lot of my artwork takes between 1 and 2 weeks. So hopefully you can imagine the level of my artwork being a bit better. But yeah, please check out my videos on the YouTube channel I have. Some of them obviously are the same as this, some of them are speed paints, some of them are fully fledged tutorials, some of those, you know, are time lapses of 15-hour works, etc, etc. Some of them are basic tips and advice, some of them are Google Hangouts with my buddy Aaron Rutton, so on and so forth. You can find me on Twitter at LAWRENCEcanDRAW. You can find me on most social media sites by checking out LAWRENCEcanDRAW. And you can find me on Facebook as well at lawrence.can.draw. Brilliant. Hopefully I shall see you very soon, and I will be doing a lot more of these live streams now that I have better bandwidth. Okay, cool. I shall see you very, very soon. Get in touch and remember to subscribe if you want to see me again. Cool. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye. How do you close this thing? No, I'm serious about that.